Welcome to our viewers in Nigeria and across the world. Lunchtime Politics begins right now. A big day at the Supreme Court. Things moving really fast as the Apex Court dismisses APM's case as it reserves ruling on the PDP and Labour Party's appeal. A student's loan. In fact, let's go to Kogi State now, where in a curious twist of events, the Kogi State Governor Bello describes a report of an assassination attempt on him as false, and that's contrary to his commissioner's statement. Now to the students' loan, which is set to commence by January 2024, says President Tinubu, as he declares the 2023 National Economic Summit open, adds that he will make mistakes, but promises to listen and correct them. Well, let's begin now with the big story of the day. It is at the Supreme Court, where the Apex Court has reserved judgment in the appeal filed by Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and Peter Obi of the Labour Party against the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court, which affirmed the victory of President Bola Tinubu in the last presidential election. It was a well-attended court sitting, and a 7-member panel of the court led by Justice Iyango Koro announced this after counsel to parties adopted their briefs of argument and made final submissions. Well, the Apex Court also took arguments from lawyers to the parties on the motion filed by Mr. Atiku to supply fresh evidence on forged documents. Counsel to Mr. Atiku, Mr. Chris Uche, urged the court to grant the motion and allow their appeal, grant the prayers sought, and disqualify President Tinubu. Counsel to respondents, Abubakar Mahmood for INEC, Wale Olanikbekun for President Tinubu, and Akinolujimi for the APC, however, urged the court to dismiss both the motion and the appeal for lacking in merit. When the court reconvened, it heard the appeal of the Allied People's Movement, and the party was urged to withdraw its appeal as it did not have prayers for determination. Well, counsel for the APM, Machikume, subsequently withdrew his appeal. The respondents did not object to the withdrawal. The Apex Court thereafter dismissed the appeal, and we expect a date for the judgment on the appeal by the Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party. So that's all we have for you so far from the Supreme Court. But let's talk about the executive now. And 4 months after the president signed the student loans bill into law, he has revealed the commencement date for that scheme. Well, President Bola Tinubu just moments ago declared that by January 2024, the scheme will effectively begin in fulfillment of the education pillar of his 8-point agenda. And while declaring the National Economic Summit open in the nation's capital, Abuja, he also spoke on his plans to improve the livelihood of Nigerians by improving the credit culture, restoring market confidence, ensuring that the fiscal and monetary policies are well separated, amongst others. President Tinubu, who said he will make mistakes during the course of his government, promised to listen and make amends where necessary.
This is the end of a crippling fuel subsidy regime and the unification of foreign exchange rates, combined with the effect of an unsustainable fiscal deficit and hidden subsidies. These factors distorted the money supply and created an unfair playing field for an elite crop of unpatriotic forces. But that is no more. It's gone. We have tackled these changes head-on. That is the hallmark of the leadership that I believe in and that you believe in. The question you asked me that day, will you have the courage to do the following? I answer all of you, yes. Now, my government has introduced Zamfara, measures to resuscitate the economy, including 500 billion naira intervention to support small-scale businesses and the agricultural sector. By January 2024, the new student loan program must commence. To the future of our children and students, we are saying no more strikes.
And back to the courts, where the Court of Appeal has nullified the victory of Senate Minority Leader Senator Simon Wadcon, who is represented in Plateau North Senatorial District in the National Assembly. In a unanimous judgment, the three-member panel, led by Justice Dauda Williams, held that the PDP did not validly nominate Senator Simon Wadcon. The three-member panel held that it is their view that court orders were not fully complied with by the PDP, as 12 local government areas did not participate in the Congress. The court also ordered a rerun for the Plateau North Senatorial District to be conducted in 90 days. The court cited non-compliance with a subsistent court order from the Plateau State High Court, which was made since 2020 for the PDP to conduct Congress before nominations as a key factor in their decision. The panel at the Appellate Court, led by Justice Okonabeng, also nullified the victory of Honorable Musa Aga Avia of the PDP, representing Bassa North in the House of Representatives. Well, ahead of the November 11th governorship election in Kogi State, there's been some controversy, and this time it's coming from the government itself, as Governor Kogi, the governor of Kogi State, Governor Yaya Bello, has denied reports of an assassination attempt on him on his way from Lokoja to Abuja for an official engagement. Briefing journalists on his experience, the governor notes that there was a fracas between security officials attached to his convoy and military officials on checkpoints along the Abuja-Lokoja Expressway. And he says that there was never an attempt on his life or any member of his convoy, as he called for an investigation into the fracas. Earlier on, his Commissioner for Information, Mr. Kingsley Fanwo, had released a press statement indicating that gunmen in military uniform attempted to kill Governor Bello, an account which the governor is now refuting.
I want to state categorically very clear, dear Nigerians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that there was no assassination attempt on me, Yahaya Bello, the executive governor of Kogi State, by the military or by anybody. Between Kogi State and FCT, it is a secured route. Thanks be to God Almighty and members of the military, the Nigerian police, the DSS, the Navy, the civil defense, the vigilantes, and the professional hunters, and all the citizens of our dear state. We have been able to secure that route, courtesy these various agencies and bodies that I enumerated. So, nobody would have attempted to assassinate me or anybody in my convoy. Most often or sometimes there will be fracas or misunderstanding between sister agencies that are performing their lawful duty. That sometimes cannot be ruled out. But assassination attempt, there's nothing like that. It has been resolved, and I don't condone any act of indiscipline. That fracas to even have happened in the first place, I've called on the Nigerian police, the Nigerian army, the DSS, and all law enforcement agencies that are around me and on the road to investigate it and ensure that whoever is culpable is punished according to the rules and regulations of the various forces or the various services.
Well, that's the statement or the chat with Governor Yaya Bello, where he's disputed That statement, which was released by his Commissioner for Information, Mr. Kingsley Fowl, who was quite explicit on what he said occurred exactly during that process. But this is a story we're following. I'll bring you more updates. But let's head over to Imo State now, which is also preparing for an election. And this time, the Imo State governor and the APC governorship candidate, Senator Hope Uzodimma, says only leaders who can translate vision to reality and leaders with tested track record should be voted in that election. The governor was speaking at a political summit organized by Olu Zone Women, which held at Nkwere local government area of the state. According to him, he's optimistic, again, that his track record of competence, quality, and service delivery in the last 3.5 years will work in his favor.
A few weeks after youth from Olu Senatorial Zone gathered to endorse and openly declare their support for the re-election bid of Governor Hope Uzodimma at the number 11 elections, the women from the area have also thrown their weight behind the governor's re-election bid. They've come out in large numbers to demonstrate that support. But first, the leaders from the zone give reasons why they are supporting the governor.
We cannot do without women. If you are in politics and you want to do without women, you are going to fail. Here we have one of us, a visionary leader, and somebody who has made sure that lives of Imo people are touched. He brought changes in infrastructure everywhere in Imo State.
Olu women, we've come together today to assure him that we are standing with him 100%. 100%.
And then the governor's wife takes time to commend the women for their decision to support the governor's re-election bid. She wants them to go all out in order to ensure victory.
By this time, by God's grace, on the 12th of November 2023, I can now celebrate.
When it was the turn of the governor to speak, he assures the residents that he will consolidate on the gains and achievements of his first tenure, especially in the areas of job creation, infrastructure, security, and women empowerment.
We are going to make use of the meager resources, which we consider as what we have. We will use it to get what we want. We will create opportunities for our children to be meaningfully engaged. We will create jobs. In the next 2 months, we are going to enroll 50,000 young men and women under cohort 3 program. And 3 months after, they will graduate. And that is wealth creation. That is what we have come to do.
Gradually, the D-Day is getting nearer, and the political space in the state is getting more interesting. For the serving governor, he believes his performance in his first term in office is enough to earn him victory at the polls. However, all the candidates that will be taking part in the election are not leaving any stone unturned in their bid to convince the electorate to vote in their favor.
Well, Lunchtime Politics returns more fireworks from the Zamfara state government as it continues to accuse former Governor Bello of financial misappropriation regarding the Zamfara cargo airport. More details in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. Well, the accusation and counter-accusation between Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal and his predecessor Bello Matawale over an alleged embezzlement of billions of naira meant for the Zamfara cargo airport appears far from over. Well, the Zamfara government has released fresh documents which it says shows how the funds meant for the project were dispersed. And the government has said that this is just a tip of the iceberg. So let's get into the issues, really. We're joined on the program this afternoon by Mr. Suleiman Idris, who is a spokesperson to the governor of Zamfara State, joins us virtually on the program. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Idris.
Thank you for having me.
So latest documents that have been released and its sequel to that statement, which was, a response to the original statement which was released saying that the former governor allegedly embezzled monies meant for the cargo airport. And in that statement, which was released by the APC spokesperson in the state, your government was asked to provide proof to back up those very weighty allegations. So documents have been released. What do those documents say? Because for this, the former governor, who is now the Minister of State, says that, well, this is just some sort of cover-up, to cover up what he calls a failure of this government to solve security in the state.
Well, what actually happened is that on assumption in office, we realized that there are some projects that were abandoned. And as a responsible government, we take it as a responsibility to go after these projects, investigate, and do the needful. The transition committee have submitted a report, an observation on the abandoned cargo airport project in Zamfara State, and this cargo project, airport project, has been abandoned despite withdrawing over 6.7 billion naira from the state account. So we released a statement last week exposing this theft, what we consider as a theft or a corruption, exposing a corruption committed by the previous administration of the State Defense Minister. So they responded. In the response, they claimed that what the government released is just a statement without fact, without proof. So today we issued another statement with evidence, documents that contain evidence that including vouchers, including even mandate, where the governor signed on a document approving for the removal of the funds. We were accusing his government of embezzling. So what we are saying is that this document, if we have a serious government in Nigeria, these documents are enough to nail the Matawale, because what we are, our expectation is by now that the EFCC will do the needful, because you cannot just embezzle money over 6.7 billion naira and think that you go scot-free, because this is the money that belongs to the people of Zamfara State. And it's our responsibility as a government to make sure that all people that commit such embezzlement were brought to justice.
So let's talk about these documents, really. What does it really prove? I mean, I've looked through some of them. A part of the document talks about a certain loan which such have been sought by the contractor. Does this prove that the money was diverted into the pockets of the governor? Let's speak pointedly to that.
In their response last week, Matawale claimed that what happened is that it was a contract financing, what he called contract financing. And it is embarrassing for the governor, for the former governor, to call that contract financing. It is called contract financing facility. And that happens between the bank and the contractor. The government is not involved in contract financing facility. So he claimed that no amount was removed from the state accounts. It is between the contractor and the bank. So what this document is exposing now is a proof that Matawale withdrew these funds from the state account, not from a kind of negotiation of a contract financing facility. So this is a fat lie from the former governor. And this exposed that he is hiding something. They thought that we don't have this document. And we are exposing the document to the public so that the public will judge. Because he came out last week saying that no amount was withdrew from the state account. So this document is our own evidence. We have exposed our own evidence, exposing what he did, the kind of corruption he committed.
My question, Mr. Idris, is that do these documents prove, as you allege, that the money was diverted not to the cargo airport construction, but to the pockets of the governor? Which of the documents
because
prove that?
What was what they removed from the Zamfara state account is 6.7 billion. And after upon assumption in office, we contracted some firm consultants to give us a kind of, to go and review the work and give us a kind of feedback on what is the stage of the work and what is the value of the work done on site. So this consultant, we hired 4 different consultants, and this consultant gave us a value of 2.9 billion. That this is the value of the work on site. So what this document is exposing is that they have removed money beyond what is on site. So the document, if you go through the document, you will see now the document, this request by the ABIC International Engineering is a loan request. This is the first time that we are hearing about a loan request, that a contractor, a government is giving a contractor a loan of certain amount, which is over 825 million naira. So this document exposed what they had been hiding because they thought we don't have the document. Go through the document, you will see how they use some ministries, like the Ministry of Finance, to remove the money, like the Ministry of Local Government Affairs and Chieftaincy Affairs. How they remove the money is using these ministries. So this is the reason why we expose the documents.
Right. Just to say that we had reached out to the APC spokesperson who released that statement earlier on, Mr. Yusuf Idris Kusol, to, of course, speak on this matter as well, but we've not heard from him. We're hoping that he will join us subsequently to, of course, respond to these allegations. But you've said that, well, 6.7 billion naira was said to have been released, but the work found on site by the firms which you contracted to review the project was 2.9 billion. So that's almost 4 billion naira that you found that there was a discrepancy with. Where did you find that the money went to then? If you say that the money did not go into the project, tell us, where did you find that the money went to?
The money went to the contractor. They made the payment. All the receipts we released today.
So how was the governor then involved in embezzling the money if the money didn't go to the governor or his proxy?
Why? Because as the number one, as the chief executive officer of the state, why will you approve such kind of transaction if you are not dubious? In the first place, the transaction was dubious. So as the chief executive officer of the state, he was complicit for approving such kind of transaction.
So we need to also be clear that, I mean, this is not just politics, but centered around governance, the major issues of transparency and accountability. And in that statement, which the governor's camp released, and I said that earlier, it was said that this is a ploy to distract people from the security situation in the state. And it's been said by the governor's camp that the current governor has not been able to resolve issues when it comes to security. We've seen kidnappings of students, we've seen killings and the rest. So how are we sure that this is not political in nature?
That is baseless accusation, because I want to assure you that during the campaign, in part of among the promises we made to the people is that we will go after we'll make sure that anything that belongs to the people of Zamfara that we return, we force the people that embezzle the funds that belongs to Zamfara state, that they return that money. It's not about witch hunt or political witch hunt. We're doing the right thing because we cannot record any development without going after going after such abandoned projects, because these are projects. If we continue to allow such projects to be abandoned, then definitely nothing will not record any kind of development. It's not a witch hunt. It's not a political witch hunt. We are doing the right thing, because you cannot just wake up and tell us that you squandered over 4 billion naira and we keep quiet. It is not possible.
All right.
So it's not witch hunt. It's what they did. So we are just after the people that committed crime.
Okay, Mr. Idris, let's wind down. Let's wind down on this point. Two issues. The statement, the earlier statement released by the governor's camp, said that the governor is destroying some structures at that site. So I'd like you to confirm that or otherwise. And then speak to us, what then do you want to be done with regards to this situation? Are you saying that the former governor is corrupt? What then should follow from this?
The issue that the governor destroyed some buildings or properties on site is a lie, because we have pictures, we have videos, and the place is still there. People can go and see that the buildings were there. What they did since 2021, 2022 were there. Nothing was, nobody touched anything there. It's just a lie. They were the ones playing politics with it because they know that we are coming after them. They committed a crime and we are coming after them.
All right. We'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Suleiman Idris, spokesperson to Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, we'll be following up to hear from the former governor and Minister of State for Defense on his response to these very weighty allegations. Once again, thank you, Mr. Idris. Well, that's the program for today, everyone. We'll keep keeping our eyes on what's going on in the political space. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. I'm Kayode Kikule. Goodbye.